News. It's 17:30 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umaru Sanda Amadou. Tonight, I'm here with
Eno Safo.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes, minority in Parliament set to frustrate government business in Parliament by planning to boycott sittings over what it says is government's frustration of Kesela to forcing. Also coming up, more labour unions threaten strike in what appears to be the beginning of the strike season. And later, on Eyewitness News, Council of State member and owner of La Bianca Foods, Jacqueline Asuma-Hene, who was at the center of the infamous La Bianca scandal, dies. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
aggrieved workers of PBC Limited renew calls for government to expedite processes to settle their salary arrears.
That's in 50 minutes from the City Business Desk. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a host of affiliate stations, including in the Ahafo region on Hammers Radio 106.5 in Goso, in the Bono region on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani, in the Western region on Beach 105.5 FM in Takrady, and Sky Power 93.5 FM also in Takrady. In the Ashanti region on Focus 94.3 FM in Kumasi, as well as Orange 107.9 FM also in Kumasi. In the Upper East region on Tanga 93.7 FM in Bolga, in Northern region on Radio Bimbila 91.9 FM in Bimbila, in Upper West on Tumsum 97.3 FM in Wa, and Jirapa 96.1 FM in Jirapa. We are also in the Volta region on Revival 99.3 FM in Tajevu. We are on YouTube, we are on Facebook, we are on CitiNewsroom.com. We are interactive. Join us with your messages 0549 986 996 0549 986 996, or go on X, known previously as Twitter, and send your message there. My hashtag that I'm using for the show is Citi Newsroom. My handle is @Umaru Sanda. You can send your messages also to @Citi973. Let's start off with Parliament now, and it appears that there's a plan to frustrate government business, and this is as a result of an apparent frustration of the minority leader by the government. So it's a case of you do me, I do you, God no go vex. Nelson Roxin Eche Dafamakpo is NDC Member of Parliament for South Dai. You're welcome to Eyewitness News. Apologies, that doesn't sound like Roxin Eche Dafamakpo. We'll try to re-establish connection to him, but you do know that the Member of Parliament for Jumako Enyanisiem, who was made minority leader recently, has been standing trial in relation to an action he took when he was Deputy Minister to Seth Tekpe, Finance Minister at the time. It has to do with the procurement of ambulances and the bringing of same into this country. The Akufo-Addo government, through the Attorney General, is prosecuting Dr. Kesela Tuforsen for his involvement in the procurement of those ambulances. That case has seen various twists and turns, and the new turn tonight is that the NDC is planning to boycott sittings in Parliament. Previously, they would go with him every day he had a case, literally walk with him from Parliament to the courthouse. What exactly are they planning to do this time around? Let's go on the phone lines, and do I have him now? Okay, I do not have him. I'm going to try and re-establish connection. But so the summary, as I was giving you, is that the recent case or the recent issue around this ambulance case is that secret recording of Richard Jakpa. The Richard Jakpa recording, which had Attorney General Godfrey Dame on it, in which tape the NDC alleges that there was a plan to coach the witness against Kesela Tuforsen. That has generated a lot of controversy. There have been demands for the Attorney General to resign. He has said he would not do so. He said that he sticks to his guns and he will continue with the prosecution. We don't know what happened in court. Now, the NDC, like I said, has previously been boycotting sittings in solidarity with not just Case Latu-Forson, but 3 other NDC MPs. At the time, the former, now current, I'm not sure how to describe him. You can say former Asin North MP, current Asin North MP, who was also standing trial at the time over issues having to do with what he may or may not have said to a public officer as of the time that he was filing his papers to be a member of parliament. Let's go back to the phone lines, hopefully, and speak to Nelson Roxineche Dafamakwa, his MP for South. Honorable, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm grateful to have joined you.
Great. Now, I was just reminding my listeners that you've had a series of boycotts where you'd escort your colleague to court, and you said that for so long as they continue to remain on trial, you're going to also be boycotting. How different is this planned boycott from your side?
Yes, I believe it's in pursuit of the same declaration. You would have discovered that that stance had been slowed down so that we could engage and work in the interest of the nation anytime we have serious matters of state to do with in Parliament. However, we have discovered that the majority side, who constitutes government, they are adamant. They don't want to build consensus. Why do we say so? Today, Parliament is supposed to resume, or will resume today. The minority leader will have to perform very important opening ceremony. Asking us to come to court. Even though we wrote to indicate that today will not be convenient. In any case, as lawyers, when we are trying to agree on a date to appear before a judge upon an adjournment, we do this based on the conveniences of the parties, including the courts and the people who are supposed to attend court. So, for instance, if you propose a date and it's not convenient for the judge, it's that simple. It's not convenient for the court. If another date is proposed and it's not convenient for the other party, it's simply not convenient for the other party. Until such time that the conveniences are allowed, we continue to look for a more convenient date to come. If it's not convenient for the minority leader to appear in court today, in any case, it's very committed to attending to court. Our simplest reason was that today is the opening day for Parliament. So it should be permitted to perform his constitutional duties. The next day, tomorrow, or the day after that, will be available to attend court. This was refused. So why do we have to support government in carrying on business on the floor? You don't have to do that.
Are you not obstructing the work of Parliament and again, even indirectly obstructing the work of the judiciary by refusing to let the judiciary do its work?
Let's call a spade a spade. No organ of state is subservient to the other. It is rather the judiciary that is obstructing the work of Parliament. No organ of state is subservient to the other.
How is the judiciary obstructing the work of Parliament? Clarify, please.
If the judiciary insists of all the days in the week, from Monday to Friday, if the judiciary insists that the minority leader has to be in court on a certain Tuesday out of 5 days in a week, 5 working days, if the court insists that he must be in court on Tuesday, which obligation if you observe will take him away from Parliament, will take him away from performing his constitutional duties and statutory duties. Is that not an obstruction of parliamentary work? So don't talk about obstruction of some work.
Parliament is independent of the judiciary, so is the judiciary independent of Parliament.
Thank you.
Are you suggesting that? Hold on a second. Let me land with the question. Let me land with the question, then you do the answering. Are you suggesting that Judicial Secretary should check with the clerk to Parliament before settling cases involving MPs? Should they not treat an MP as just an ordinary person who are ordinary suspect standing trial and deal with them as that? Why do
Is
they
that
have
what we are
to?
saying?
Why, no, because you're saying that on Tuesdays. Okay, so which days do you want the court to hear the Atoforsin case? For which reason?
I have laid down, Omaru, don't ask questions with stories. Put the questions first into there. Let me answer you. The judiciary may be independent of the legislature, and the legislature may be independent of the judiciary, and so is the executive. But under the spirit and letter of the Constitution, we are supposed to work in tandem, in consensus, and build a nation. So where you have a member of parliament who is supposed to attend court and he pleads with the court, in any case, parties plead with the court all the time, based on conveniences, sometimes on medical grounds, sometimes on sheer physical inability to appear. So if that is the case, the court would have asked that, okay, which day to be convenient for you? Then the person will indicate. But if you insist, even upon a letter to the court insists that I will continue to hear the matter on a certain Tuesday when Parliament is supposed to resume 10 a.m. of that day, and the minority leader is yanked from the floor of Parliament to appear in court. What do you want us to do? In any case, it's not the one on the stand. It's not on the stand. It's not being questioned. He's done with his case. He's closed his case. So his presence in court is actually nominal. It's not material. His presence is no longer material. He's closed his case. He's the third accused person who is on the witness stand. So what is the insistence that he must necessarily be in court today? So why should I support somebody who is harassing me in court, persecuting me in court, and I should be in parliament supporting him? Who won't do that?
What is your counter proposal on how to deal with this?
We are simply saying that the court should extend the same courtesy it extends to all other parties when the conveniences do not permit the person to appear before the court on a certain day, and the court allows that a different day be chosen based on the conveniences. That's what we are praying for. We are not making a demand. We are saying that where you suggest a date, a court request suggests a date, and it's not convenient for a party, that is made clear by the party or his or her lawyer.
So in this,
even this one is backed by a letter.
So in this instant case, are you
yesterday?
This instant case, what should happen with Atoforsin's case?
On record. Yesterday and Friday, Atoforsin couldn't attend the Parliamentary Service Board meeting because he was supposed to be in court. Statutory duty, he couldn't be there to perform it. Why?
Okay, so more specifically, what do you? And I want to again hear your proposal. Not the fact that he's not he's not standing trial now, but more specifically, how do you reckon this can be reconciled so that you MPs sit from Tuesday to Friday? What day do you want the court to hear your leader? Or do you propose that he goes early in the morning before you sit at 10 a.m.? What's your alternative idea?
He's to appear in court at midday. So that is the middle of the day. So if you commences official business in the morning, you couldn't complete it. You are truncated because you have to be in court. And perhaps when you are back from court, you may not be able to complete it before close of business for the day. So it's a clear disruption. But I'm saying that we do not attend to parliamentary business on Mondays. So is it not convenient for all the parties for these matters to be conducted on Mondays of every week?
So that's something you can propose.
Yes, the first Monday of every week. That's fine.
Question. The job of a doctor is very important. The job of a teacher is very important. Picture this. A teacher in your constituency is standing trial for rape. The teacher goes to school from Monday to Friday to teach in your village school. What are you saying to the court in your community? The court should wait and hear his case only on weekends because he goes to the school from Monday to Friday. Tell me how if no dispensation has been made for the teacher, why should it be made for the member of parliament?
Your analogy is very erroneous. The teacher may not teach from Monday to Friday. The teacher may not teach every single day.
Oh, when I was in primary school, my teacher was in my class from Monday to Friday.
Hold on. The teachers teach by what they call lesson time. So it is not every day that the teacher will teach mathematics. It may teach mathematics Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. So the teacher, even though he's supposed to be in school Monday to Friday, he may not be teaching every single day. On days that they don't teach, they do what they call preparation of lesson notes or engage in other extracurricular activities. But in any case, let me make the point. If the
no. I mean, I don't know what's happening now, but I remember Mr. Jokache in class 6 would be in class from Monday to Friday. Mr. Obinka in class 2 would do same. Mr. Afo did same. Miss Charity did the same thing. From Monday to Friday, they sit on their table, mark register in the morning, we begin classes. I don't know. Maybe things have changed now, but I knew that the class teacher who sat in class 5, Miss Mina, would sit from morning to afternoon, and she did this from Monday to Friday. So I don't know what you are now saying that they have lesson notes. Unless when you get to the GSS, then things change.
Umaru, don't they have lesson notes? That is what I'm saying. The analogy you are painting is erroneous.
No, the analogy I'm painting to you is to let you know that there are other people who are also in active duty, who are in active service to Mother Ghana, who still go and respond to the calls of a court. The judges, the doctors, medical doctors who go to court, truck driver who has to work from Monday to Sunday will still go to court. Please, explain to me why the parliamentarian should be treated differently.
You set your own questions and you want to answer it. So when you ask the question, please, with all due respect, remain calm and let me respond. I am saying that the analogy you cited is erroneous. Because if the teacher goes to class and teach from Monday to Friday and he has to attend court, the court will take into consideration his peculiar circumstances in order to appoint time for him or her to appear and answer for his or her charges. It's the same principle we are saying. We are citing that in the event of the Honorable Atuforsen, the court should take into consideration the circumstances and the nature of his work. Where, for instance, he doesn't undertake official parliamentary duties on Mondays because Parliament is from Tuesday to Friday. The court could look at these circumstances and say that, okay, then let's do the hearings in respect of you on Mondays. That can be done.
Very well. Now, this boycott of yours, is it going to be like you were doing in the past where on any day he's going to court, you do the boycott, or you're going to boycott in perpetuity? How is the nature going to be?
Every day that is called to attend court, we'll boycott. We'll go and solidarize within the court.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
It's my pleasure.
That's Honorable Roxanne Nelson Eche Dafamakbo. He's Member of Parliament for South Day, a member of the NDC, speaking to us on that decision of the NDC to boycott sittings. In fact, let's remain in the courts. The High Court is expected to, on Thursday, June 13, decide on whether to admit into evidence or not an audio recording of a conversation between Godfrey Dame, who is Attorney General, and the third accused person in the ongoing ambulance case, Richard Jakpa. This after lawyers for the minority leader, Dr. Kiesel Atuforsen, submitted the audio in an attempt to cross-examine Richard Jakpa on his claims that the AG has been engaging him at odd hours to implicate Dr. Atuforsen. The prosecution, however, objected to the admissibility of the audio in evidence. Dr. Abdul Basit Aziz Bamba, who led the lawyers for the minority leader, however, described the objection as frivolous and untenable. Justice Efia Sewa Sariboche, after hearing the arguments of the two sides, adjourned the case to Thursday to deliver a judgment.
In a world where only the best survives, you need a fuel that can match your drive. A fuel with unparalleled protection for your engine, superior efficiency, and unrivaled performance. A fuel so unbeatable, when you get behind the wheel, you'll focus on what really matters. The journey ahead. That fuel is Shell V-Power, because no other fuel gives your engine better protection, better efficiency, and better performance. Be unbeatable. Drive unbeatable. Shell V-Power. Shell, go well.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
Hey, Walambo! Hey, Walambo! Hey, I asked him to buy me original Polita.
Hey, please don't make mistake. Stop the papa. Open the back man. And you Polita no girl. You getting there. Hey, papa.
Papa, can Robo?
The Polita is original, the first and the best.
What is? Ukota also pet dear acrobat to use to me.
Polita, yes.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. We are also around the globe on citynewsroom.com. Let's talk about illegal mining or small-scale mining now, shall we?
A security analyst, Colonel Festus Abuaje, has called for the arrest of New Patriotic Party parliamentary candidate for Amenfi East, Ernest Frimpong, for inciting the public against military men. Speaking in an interview with Citi FM, Colonel Festus Abuaje lamented what he termed the political considerations preventing the arrest of Mr. Frimpong. His comments come after NPP parliamentary candidate for Amenfi East was captured on video calling for assault on soldiers who intervene in the activities of small-scale miners.
That gentleman should have been arrested by the police. Use our euphemism. He should have been invited by the police to explain what he meant by the statement that he made. If that hasn't happened, then it leads us to conjecture. But the only reason why he's not being called or invited or arrested by the police is because of his political affiliation. Which brings us to the narrative that when he made that statement, there were two members of the regional security architecture, i.e. the regional minister, who is head of the REC, and the MC. All of them have condoned, that behavior by this parliamentary candidate. So if we put it in the context of this year being an election year, that kind of statement by the parliamentary candidate is a very serious. If he's not arrested, then it brings us to the conjecture that we don't have a rule of law-based society. You see, and it's not too late for the police to invite that gentleman.
Colonel Festus Abuaje is a security analyst and a consultant at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Center. Now, the opposition National Democratic Congress has rejected claims by President Akufo-Addo that his government has been at the forefront of fighting corruption. During the commissioning of the Law House in Accra yesterday, President Akufo-Addo stated that his administration is committed to upholding the principles of justice. However, the NDC contends that many corruption cases have not been investigated under his leadership. Malik Basintale is a Deputy Communications Officer of the NDC.
COVID-19, there were lots of exposés where COVID funds were misappropriated. The Auditor General told us what $14 million Ghana City was used to, set up a facility at Adakulu, abandoned it to the mercy of the weather. Over 11 billion were shared to cronies, and there were testimonies from NPP persons. An example is Felicia Tete of Sanarugu, where she admitted that parts of the monies were given to her to spend and use for campaign. Yet nothing was done in that investigation. It was left off the hook. And so there are a series of instances where the president himself was indicted. For example, the American Innovation Scandal, where a contract was ballooned from 510 million to over 1 billion. When the president was caught red-handed, he said he was misled. As to who misled him, we don't know. As to who asked him to balloon the contract, we don't know. Yet no investigation was done in that particular matter. The Austria saga, where even investigations were done on Pius and Amajide. Till date, not a single report has been made public. You and I do not know what is contained in that report. The president still did not have the effort to spark investigations into what Martin Amidu said, because he knew he would be investigated for it. And so the president, the vice president, together with all the appointees, have been indicted in one way or the other. And it is not even enough to just call Akufo-Addo the mother serpent of corruption. In fact, it is not enough to call Akufo-Addo the clearing agent. You must call him the clearing agent, and he doubles as the mother serpent of corruption, as said by his own special prosecutor, Martin Amidu.
The NDC also denied assertions that it will not prosecute officials in its future government.
This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. We are also around the globe on citinewsroom.com. We are live around the globe on citinewsroom.com. Please do send us your messages and then we'll read them for you. Let me take some of them. As expected, Dafa Makpo is not, I can't say that. It says the minority leadership is non-elective position. He was chosen by his side in parliament. So if the minority leader finds himself in trouble, they should choose another person to replace him. How can Parliament determine which days the courts must sit? What becomes of the judicial independence and separation of powers? This one from Mausi Ayebi and Esther from Abutia 30 in Volta says the decision of the NDC MPs to boycott Parliament in support of their colleague Atuforsen is justified as he faces a crucial court case involving ambulance procurement. It's vital for him to attend the court proceedings while also fulfilling his parliamentary duties. The boycott demonstrates solidarity and a commitment to uphold accountability and transparency in governance. From Baba Chairman in Tamale, he says, I think the tape must be admitted in court for us to know the veracity or otherwise of the claims, but the position of the minority is rather bizarre. Other messages that are coming through, this one from Alasan Hamdan in Union South. He said, if we are a serious country, the security agencies would have arrested him long ago, but because of his party affiliation, no one wants to dare effect an arrest. This one from Akapo Jr. in Hafomim. He says, the decision by the minority to boycott Parliament whenever the case of their leader is called is very retrogressive. We therefore expect the ex-president to call them to order, as this decision will negatively affect our growth. Finally, Wahab Yakubu from Gusheu says, don't let this, okay, that sounds very insulting. I'll go to the next message. Zilis Dwayne in London says, our judicial system is too predictable nowadays and it will damage, okay, it's dangerous under this government. Send your message to 0549 986 996 0549 986 996. Let me go back to Eno.
Independent presidential aspirant Alan Chemating has promised to waive duties on spare parts if elected president on December 7. He also pledged to make all raw materials used by artisanal workers in the country available and affordable to improve their livelihoods and create more jobs for the unemployed youth. Mr. Chemating made these promises while addressing artisans at the industrial area in Tamale.
Most of you who are in fabrication, you need metal sheets to fabricate the things that you produce. Ghana has bauxite. Out of bauxite, we can get aluminium. Ghana has iron. Out of iron, we can get steel. Ghana has oil and gas. Out of oil and gas, we can get plastics. So if we can add value to our bauxite, add value to our iron, and add value to our oil and gas, you get all the raw materials that you need for your work. And this is what Alan is going to do for you.
Alan Chermating also questioned why Ghanaians would not seek change, noting that the last 32 years have not been fulfilling. He called for the NDC and the NPP to be voted out, advocating for an Alan Chermating government.
Things are not working well for you. Then out of the three, you know what the two have done. And so you are one other person who you should try, and that's Alan Chermating. What you need now is a leader who has got vision. Because if you don't have ideas, there can be no progress in your country. But you also need a leader who is competent, who has demonstrated that he can get things done. You also need a leader who has integrity. Right now, between the NDC about which of the two parties are more corrupt. So you need a leader who will stamp out corruption in this country.
Independent presidential aspirant Alan Chermating there. Now, spare parts dealers at Swami Magazine in the Ashanti region are lamenting continuous harassment by the regional and national task force from the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority. The leadership of the Spare Parts Dealers Association claims that the task force has set up multiple barriers intimidating their members who transport goods from the Tema and Takoradi ports. Chairman of the Swami Magazine Spare Parts Dealers Association, Godfred Edu, has appealed to the Vice President to address these concerns.
The task force from the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority are harassing our members. Aside paying what is required to clear your goods, you are approached by officers who extort monies from us. They have been doing that for a long time and it's affecting our businesses. We urge you to address this issue.
You heard the chairman of the Swami Magazine Spare Parts Dealers Association, Godfred Edu. In response, the NPP flag bearer, Dr. Mahamudu Balmi, assured the spare parts dealers that their concerns about harassment by the Customs Division Task Force would be addressed.
I will deal with the issue as soon as possible to ensure you trade freely. In all this, no vice president has worked as much as I have. There is none. I'm therefore asking to be promoted to the presidency.
Vice President promotion presidency.
You heard NPP flag bearer Dr. Mahamudu Balmia there. The Locked Up Investment Holders Forum has announced that it will continue picketing tomorrow following the failure by the Ministry of Finance to engage with the group as promised. The members have been demanding that the ministry provides assurances to enable the Bank of Ghana to release funds locked up in defunct financial firms. Speaking to City News, the convener of the forum, Dr. Edu Anane Entry, expressed frustration over the lack of engagement.
Members of the Locked Up Investment Holders Forum will continue with their picketing of the Ministry of Finance tomorrow, Wednesday. Members will converge at the premises of NDK Financial Services behind the Stadium Osu at 9 a.m. We will thereafter march from that place through the High Street to the Ministry of Finance and picket there up to 12 noon and leave the place. This is a weekly picketing and we are going to do that every Wednesday till November 2024 if our request is not met.
You heard the convener for the Locked Up Investment Holders Forum, Dr. Edu Anane Entry. The Coalition of Civil Society Organizations in Health have threatened to demonstrate for the release of the Global Fund drugs aimed at supporting malaria, tuberculosis and HIV, which remain locked up at the ports since May last year. The government has not given any reasons on why the life-saving drugs continue to remain at the ports. Concerns remain rife over imminent shortages at hospitals. The Global Fund says it may sever ties with Ghana if the drugs continue to remain locked up at the ports. Kojafre is the Executive Secretary of Stop TB Partnership.
Client call among our rank and file is that we need to hold a demonstration. But I keep asking myself, should it take a demonstration for any responsible government that cares about its citizens to do something as simple as clearing commodities from the port? Should it take a demonstration? So we find ourselves in a very, very critical situation. If the demonstration is what it will take, then it will mean we have to demonstrate very, very hard.
Kojafre is the Executive Secretary of Stop TB Partnership, a member of the Civil Society Organizations in Health.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Do you have a game-changing and innovative business idea or project that can impact the society? This is your moment. Total Energies presents the 4th edition of the Startupper of the Year Challenge. This year, we are looking for 3 winners. The best entrepreneur, also called the InnovUp winner. The best project or innovative business idea that exemplifies the principle of recycling and minimizing waste, also called the Cycle Up winner. And the best project that promotes or relates to sustainable and affordable energies, also called the Power Up winner. And that's not all. 4 additional projects in the Power Up category will be selected by an international jury. Don't wait any longer. Apply at www.startupper.totalenergies.com for a chance to win financial support, professional mentorship, and a spotlight for your project. Terms and conditions apply.
One of the best decisions you could possibly make at the start of your day is to tune in to the City Breakfast Show. Insightful, intriguing, intelligent, and informative. The City Breakfast Show offers an attractive alternative to the noisy mishmash of morning radio. Tune in to the City Breakfast Show for passionate discussions on issues that matter and enjoy interviews where duty bearers and decision makers have their feet held to the fire. The City Breakfast Show airs from 6:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. every Monday to Friday, only on 97.3 Citi FM.
Are you a contractor, builder, or a proud homeowner with an eye for quality and security? Well, look no further than Yale. Yale is the trusted name in security for over 180 years. When it comes to securing your home or business, trust Yale. We make security simple, and we're right here in the heart of Accra, Ghana. Visit our stunning showroom on 11th Lane Street, Inosu, Accra, and discover a world of premium Yale products, including door hardware, handles, and door locks that will elevate the security and style of your space. Whether you're building from scratch or renovating, Yale has the perfect solution for you. Our products are known for their durability, innovation, and most importantly, your peace of mind. Visit us today and experience the Yale difference. Your security, our priority. Yale, locking in your peace of mind.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are broadcasting from Adabraka in Accra. Now, scholarships have been the subject of controversy over the past few years. It has to do with scholarships that are given to persons who many think are not deserving because they are neither needy nor... I'm not sure about the second part of the reason people give scholarships. Now, the foreign scholarships have become an issue issued by the Scholarship Secretariat. While that is happening, we also know that there are other bodies or states that issue scholarships to Ghanaian students. One of them is the GET Fund, that's the Ghana Education Trust Fund Scholarship. Now, an education think tank, EduWatch, or Africa Education Watch, has been asking for this particular scholarship regime to be scrapped. Kofi Asari is the Executive Director of Africa Education Watch. He's joining us on the line. Sir, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you.
If you're promoting education, why are you preventing the the payment or the sponsorship of education?
Well, Ghana has set a target for itself under His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo. And the target is that by 2030, we should be reaching 40% gross tertiary enrollment. At present, we are at 19%, and we've been between 18 and 19% since 2021. The target is 40% by 2030. Number two, this target is also, among others, meant to ensure that, as much as practicable, many seniors who graduate are able to enter university, because we are having an unprecedented number of senior school students completing school, close to 450,000 annually. But if you look at the data, the most recent data indicates from GTEC indicates that by the end of the 2022-2023 academic year, out of about 450,000 senior high school students who graduated from senior high school, even though 60%, at least 60% passed in their 4 core subjects, which is also unprecedented, only 34% were able to make it to universities. To tertiary institutions, not universities. 34%. It means that the remaining 66% were unable to do so. This must be concerning because we are not doing well on cross tertiary enrollment. The reason per our research is that many senior school students are struggling to raise funding to enter tertiary school, tertiary education. The Student Loan Trust Fund gives you a loan of averagely 2,550. That is barely enough to take care of a tertiary student for 2 months. Because in your first month, when you are paying fees, that money will be consumed. It won't be even adequate. So a country like this, and let me just indicate that even that the student loan is also in arrears, dating us up to the last academic year. So in a country like this, how do you justify spending 400,000 Ghana cedis on one person to go and read a course like MSc or MA in public policy at the University of Reading, when that same program is available at the University of Cape Coast for just 16,000 Ghana cedis, 400,000 Ghana cedis for one person? That's 16,000 Ghana cedis at the University of Cape Coast and sponsor more than 20 people to enroll under that program. So the issue is simply based on value for money and spending efficiency. We believe that we don't have the luxury to be dishing out foreign scholarships that are non-bilateral. Non-bilateral means government is paying for tuition fees and paying for living expenses in that country. We don't have the luxury to be doing that, except in instances where the programs are not available in the country. But our research tells us that about 95% of our non-bilateral foreign scholarships, the programs being run there are run by universities in Ghana. So we should look inward, give scholarship locally, and stop dishing out scholarships, foreign scholarships at the master's level, in Ghana. That is why we are opposed to this particular move by Get Fund.
I see. So are you asking for the scholarship to be streamlined? Are you asking that henceforth we should not sponsor anybody to go abroad and study a program that we have here? Are you saying that we should scrap Get Fund scholarship completely and just stick to the scholarship secretariat scholarship? Please answer these 3 questions. Let's understand.
We are asking for the scholarship system in Ghana to be streamlined. We are calling for a single scholarships authority backed by law. The scholarship secretariat is not backed by law. It's a secretariat under the office of the president. We want to see that secretariat given the legal muscle and to become an authority. 1. 2, ensure that no government agency runs any parallel scholarship program apart from that authority. So Get Fund will not run scholarships, because Get Fund is not mandated to run scholarships in the first place. Then 3, strengthen this authority with the power to decentralize scholarships to the faculties, to the universities, and rather monitor them to ensure compliance.
So there must be no scholarships abroad or only on special courses.
Yeah. So I'm coming to the abroad or local issue. So this is the institutional one. The second leg is that there are bilateral scholarships and then non-bilateral scholarships. Bilateral scholarships are the ones that are agreement between government of Ghana and other countries. those ones, we don't pay for tuition fees. We only pay stipend. So those ones, we should maintain that foreign arrangement because we don't pay for tuition fees. But the non-bilateral one, where we pay tuition fee and pay stipend, living allowances, that is the one that we want to discourage, unless in cases where the program being offered is so important to government skills anticipation strategy, and for that matter, that program is not available in the country. But we want a total ban on scholarships, foreign scholarships for any program that is offered or that can be offered or mounted by a public, so not public, but by an accredited tertiary institution in Ghana, so that we don't waste money in learning learning on a program that can be done in Ghana here. When we do that, we strengthen the faculty capacity in Ghana. Then it gets to a time where you don't have to go to another country to go and learn environmental economics. But then you strengthen the capacity in our universities here so we can have the same program they run. I'm not saying that the MA public policy in the universities here is the same as the MA public policy at the University of Reading. But what I'm saying is that we can only improve ours here if we stop sponsoring our people to go and learn the same program in another country. That's what I'm saying.
Interesting. Okay. In moving on to another subject, free senior high school has been the big ticket item. In fact, maybe one of the biggest policies we've seen in recent times, the free senior high school. But it's been a policy with no legal backing necessarily because it comes under the Constitution's directive principles of state policy. The government now, through the Ministry of Education, is planning to lay a free SHS bill so that there will be a law that regulates free SHS. The majority leader and minister, well, I'm not sure it's the same as minister, but majority leader Alexander Penyumakin made this announcement today. What do you make of this proposal? And if I have your indulgence, I can just play his voice so we hear him and understand exactly what the government's plan with free SHS is, and then I can ask you for comment. So if you don't mind, kindly stay on the line, please.
I'm able to also report that the Minister of Education will present the free SHS bill to Parliament. You know, the Chapter 5 of the Constitution provides some aspirational indicatives. Those are not justiciable. But once by policy of government, an aspiration as envisaged by the Constitution is put into action, then to make it justiciable, you enact. In other words, there are provisions in the Constitution that you cannot enforce. You cannot claim rights to those provisions. The fact that they are there does not mean that you can apply to the court to enforce those rights. Now, when it gets to a point that a government lifts it up to give life to it, there's a need to enact a law to regulate same. And in doing so, it should have been given life. Then the lawyers will say now it has become justiciable in the sense that a court of law can rely on it to make certain orders, enforce certain rights, and give rights, and take certain actions. So I think that this free SHS bill, if we consider as a house, what that means is that it becomes mandatory for government to implement this. Unless it is repealed, no government would have the right to say, I am not going to enforce free SHS, because now there's a law.
So that's Alexander Penyumakin, his MP for Ifutu, and also majority leader. Mr. Kofi Asare, so you heard him there. What do you make of this plan?
Well, I agree with my very good friend Alex that Chapter 5 is non-justiciable, and so to give effect, you need to legislate so that you can enforce. But I'm a bit lost because in December 2020, Parliament passed a law called the Pre-Tertiary Education Law, which is Act 1049. And this law, which was assented on 29 December 2020, has free senior high school captured under Section 3, which says, I'm quoting from Section 3, that secondary education in its different forms, including TVET, shall be free and accessible to all eligible candidates. So this provision in the pre-tertiary education law is to give legal effect, is to give binding effect, and if you like, to give that, to make the 25(1) of the Constitution, plus on the provision on free senior high school, to make it justiciable. That is why it's here.
What's the name of the act again?
The Pre-Tertiary Education Act.
I see.
Education is
so it's giving life. It's giving life to the provision of the Constitution.
Because this act is the act being used to manage the pre-tertiary aspect of our education system. That is secondary education and basic education. And so if you look at the act, Section 2 talks about free compulsory universal basic education. And then Section 3 talks about free secondary education. So free senior high school is already catered for in the Pre-Tertiary Education Act of 2020. So I'm actually a bit confused about why we need another separate free senior high school law.
So you reckon it to become superfluous?
I'm yet to see the bill, but I can tell you that in terms of making free senior high school justiciable, in terms of making 25(1) in the Constitution justiciable by way of a free senior high school policy, in terms of protecting the policy implementation and all that, everything has been provided for in Section 3 and the ensuing sections where the Ghana Education Service is mandated to coordinate and implement basic and secondary education. It's in the law. So I think that perhaps the only reason itself is a legacy reason. It makes no political legacy capital.
I see.
But in reality, if you ask me the top 10 challenges or problems that require urgent attention,
a law should be the last thing.
On the free senior school policy, the law will not actually fall within the top 10.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us. That's Kofi Asare. He's Executive Director of Africa Education Watch. Let me go on the other line and speak to another stakeholder in the education sector, the President of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, Angel Kabonu. He's joined us on the line. Angel, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. Hello, Angel. Angel, can you hear me? Angel, are you on the line? All right, I'm having difficulties reaching Angel Kabonu. He's president of NAGRAT. Angel, one more time. Can you hear me? Apologies, I don't have Angel Kabonu. We'll try and get him and then ask his perspectives and views on this proposal to introduce a free senior high school policy. But let's again listen to the Majority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin, who has been explaining this plan to bring the SHS bill, free SHS bill, and for that matter, free SHS Act or law.
I'm able to also report that the Minister of Education will present the free SHS bill to Parliament. The Chapter 5 of the Constitution provides some aspirational indicatives. Those are not justiciable, but once by policy of government, an aspiration as envisaged by the Constitution is put into action, then to make it justiciable, you enact. In other words, there are provisions in the Constitution that you cannot enforce. You cannot claim rights to those provisions. The fact that they are there does not mean that you can apply to the court to enforce those rights. Now, when it gets to a point that a government lifts it up to give life to it, there's a need to enact a law to regulate same. And in doing so, it should have been given life. Then the lawyers will say now it has become justiciable, in the sense that a court of law can rely on it to make certain orders, enforce certain rights, and give rights, and take certain actions. So I think that this free SHS bill, if we consider as a house, what that means is that it becomes mandatory for government to implement this. Unless it is repealed, no government would have the right to say, I am not going to enforce free SHS, because now there's a law.
That's Alexander Fenyomaki. He's MP for Futu and Majority Leader. Let me get, apologies, we've lost Nji Kabono. So let me get another perspective. The ranking member on the Education Committee of Parliament is Peter Nochu Kotwe. He's joined us online. Honorable member, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Yeah, thank you very much, and good evening.
The executive is planning to bring a bill before you, which bill is going to cater for free senior high school. The majority leader explains, the leader of your house explains that currently the free SHS policy, as we do know, as part of the directive principles of state policy, are not something you can take to court and insist that the court gives an order or does anything whatsoever. But now it's going to become a law, which law would then be used as a regulating document or regulatory document for free senior high school. What do you make of that? And if it comes before your house, how will you deal with it?
Yeah, thank you very much, and good evening to your listeners. In the first place, there's no need for any law to regulate or entrench the free senior high school program. As a committee on education, we have asked the previous minister and the current one that we want to see a free senior high school document or policy document. For 7 years now, getting to 8 years, we have not been able to produce or provide the committee with a copy of the policy. So if you don't even have a policy, on what basis are you going to make it a law? In any case, the Constitution has a provision, Article 25, 1B, that secondary education in all its forms, including technical education, to be progressively made free. And that was what we started in 2015. So for this government to have come to office and then implemented it as they wanted, I don't think any Ghanaian has a problem with that. So for me, enacting a law to protect it or whatever is neither here nor there. It will be superfluous, because what we need has for implementation are addressed. There are several of them, including even the feeding of the students. You see, the president or the majority leader is just trying to divert attention from what is needed to be done about the free senior high school. So I would rather expect government.
Hello, Honorable. Can you hear me? Honorable? Apologies, we've lost Peter Nochu there. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We'll be back with business news. But before then, there's some sad news coming through, you know.
The owner of La Bianca Company and a member of the Council of State, Eunice Jacqueline Bois Asumahene, has passed away. She passed after a brief illness, according to sources close to her. Calls for her resignation intensified on August 9, 2022, following a report by the Office of the Special Prosecutor implicating her in corruption-related offences. The report alleged that Asumahene and another official used their positions to secure favourable tax treatment for La Bianca Company, her frozen foods business.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Are you feeling tired after a hard day's work? Have you lost your appetite even for your favorite dish? Viral Blood Tonic is a nutritionally balanced, pleasant-tasting tonic fortified with iron and vitamins to boost your appetite and energy levels for high performance. Viral Blood Tonic, easy to take and good for the whole family. Viral from Danex Iting Starwin PLC. If symptoms persist after 48 hours, consult a physician. This advert is FDA approved.
Do you have a game-changing and innovative business idea or project that can impact the society? This is your moment. Total Energies presents the 4th edition of the Startupper of the Year Challenge. This year, we are looking for 3 winners. The best entrepreneur, also called the InnovUp winner. The best project or innovative business idea that exemplifies the principle of recycling and minimizing waste, also called the Cycle Up winner. And the best project that promotes or relates to sustainable and affordable energies, also called the Power Up winner. And that's not all. 4 additional projects in the Power Up category will be selected by an international jury. Don't wait any longer. Apply at www.startupper.totalenergies.com for a chance to win financial support, professional mentorship, and a spotlight for your project. Terms and conditions apply.
Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. City Business News. Be informed.
Time now for City Business News on Eyewitness News. My name is Inosafo. Let's settle for the details. Aggrieved workers of PBC Limited have renewed calls for the government to fast-track processes to settle their salary arrears. The workers say efforts are underway to get the government and relevant stakeholders to the negotiation table to deliberate these concerns and find measures to save the ailing company. Seth Edusei is the vice president of the pressure group of PBC Limited, and he tells City Business News failure by government to address their grievances will prompt other necessary actions.
Our stand is just one. Pay us our month salary. 2, we want government to come and investigate into this issue of 280 million Ghana cedis amount owed to Cocoa Board, which we the staff don't really believe that that figure should be anything to be in our books. We want to make sure that that issue doesn't cease us from being able to operate. Spoke about the fact that if government doesn't get involved to check on some of this mismanagement on the part of management, then we are likely to involve the actions of Yoko, Shraj, and all the investigative bodies to come and then investigate into the situation.
You heard Vice Chairman of the Pressure Group PBC Limited, Seth Edusei. Professor of Agri-Economics and Agribusiness at the University of Ghana, Professor Irene Suzanne Ejiri, has highlighted the need for the government to invest in research within the agri sector to ensure growth. Professor Ejiri explains that agricultural research and development investments contribute greatly to agricultural development and poverty reduction within the sector. Speaking during the City Business Festival roundtable discussion on exploring agribusiness growth opportunities, Professor Ejiri called on stakeholders within the sector to devise innovative solutions for improving research industry collaboration.
CSIR is doing, the universities are doing, and even the public universities alone, we have about 13 with schools of agriculture, with labs, professors, doctors, technicians doing research, graduate students doing research in so many different things. So some are shelved, some are taken. You get to it's research. So those shelved, you can go back, open it, see what we do, and we collaborate with the global. Okay. So what happens in the developed quickly comes to us because we are partnering. Mm-hmm. In actual fact, most of the research is sponsored by the developed countries.
Professor Irene Suzanne Ejiri is a professor of agri-economics and agribusiness at the University of Ghana. Meanwhile, to facilitate easier access to finance for farmers and farmer groups, William Branford Nate, head of agribusiness at Absa Bank Limited, underscored the importance of maintaining accurate records.
They find us challenges when they are looking for financing as their books, putting their books in order on how they are performing on their account performance. We look at things that relates to, but it also plays a role. The bank needs something to follow on that score. How are businesses positioning themselves as they come to take financing? And these are some of the things that we've looked at and working with businesses to be able to improve in these areas so that it will be easier to lend to them. So we at ABSA realized that it wasn't going to work at 35% or 40%, and so we got into partnership. Last year when we started, we've given over 460 million Ghana cedis already.
That was the head of agribusiness at Absa Bank Ghana Limited, William Branford Nate. The City Business Festival 2024 is powered by 97.3 Citi FM and Channel 1 TV in partnership with Absa Bank and is sponsored by MTN Business, Gersel, AMG Fertilizer, Nsano Limited and Agri Impact Limited. Away from that, the Bank of Ghana has expressed confidence in its cash supply chain systems in ensuring availability, authenticity, and acceptability of the local currency. The central bank has, however, urged citizens to ensure proper handling of the local currency as it aims in combating counterfeits, amongst others, on the market. Head of the Currency Management Department at the Bank of Ghana, Dominic Owusu, has been providing further insights on its cash supply chain systems.
Currently, the world is becoming very sophisticated, and if you don't ensure that you enhance the issuance of clean notes, what you realize is that most of these automated teller machines or counting machines will not be able to, process these banknotes or check these banknotes on receipt. Also, if you don't ensure that you issue clean notes, what will happen is that when banknotes are dirty, counterfeiters are also able to issue notes into circulation, and it will be very difficult to be able to discriminate between the good ones and bad ones. So, on a timely basis, when banknotes are dirty, it must be removed from circulation to ensure that clean notes stay in circulation. And we must make sure that we ensure the integrity, confidence, and trust in the currency by keeping it clean.
Dominic Owusu is head of the Currency Management Department of the Bank of Ghana. The Ghana Stock Exchange has stated that plans are far advanced to launch its over-the-counter market this year, targeting some 100 unlisted public companies to trade their securities. This initiative, according to Abena Amoah, the managing director of the GSE, aims to provide a trading platform for public companies that are not currently listed on the main exchange. Addressing the media, Abena Amoah noted the new market will benefit over 100 public companies in Ghana whose shareholders often lack transparency regarding share prices and trading mechanisms, adding that the OTC market will also attract investors interested in these public companies, offering an additional investment avenue for investors.
Investors take confidence when strong and well-performing companies come to the market. And that's why we believe that there are many SOEs, well-performing ones, good financial, strong management, and they need capital. And so they should come to market, raise equity, raise debt, and give our pension fund managers, our high net worth individuals, our Ghanaians who have savings and are looking for something to invest in, that opportunity to invest in these products. This is again the reason why we are working with NIF to even come up with the additional ETF, the gold-backed ETF. We are talking to issuers, people in the real estate sector, to come and put what we call real estate investment trusts, again to give people access to different things that they can invest in, so they have a diversified portfolio, a portfolio where they have some exposure to real estate, they have some exposure to a fintech company, they have exposure to a whole range of. So our work currently is really focused on getting issuers to come to the market. And
that was the Managing Director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Abena Amoah. That's all for City Business News on Eyewitness News. My name is Eno Safo. Up next is Point Blank.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. City Business News. Be informed.
Point Blank on Eyewitness News. My name is Umaru Sandamado. Tonight on Point Blank, we'll go to Parliament. The House resumed today. There was an address to the nation through the representatives of the people. The Speaker gave an address. Subsequently, the Majority Leader responded and also gave a statement. And of course, the Minority Leader gave a statement too. So I want us to go to Parliament now and listen first to the Honorable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin. The Right Honorable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin, Speaker of Parliament. And then subsequently we hear from Alexander Fenyomaki and then Dr. Kesela Tuforsen.
Having been part of this business for a long time, I can appreciate the weight of the responsibilities on you and the demands on your person and resources. Despite this stress, I know it is a process that most of you would have loved to see completed before returning to the House to continue with plenary session. Unfortunately, national parliamentary duty calls. Neither me nor you can say no. I had to summon Parliament, and I am grateful you dutifully complied to the summons. Some of you who couldn't make it at your party primaries are also planning and putting in place strategies to sustain life after Parliament, while members who fortunately have received the mandate of the voters and their parties to contest the December 2024 elections are also engaged in campaign activities. This meeting is thus tight and challenging. That notwithstanding, Parliament is called upon to consider some critical legislation, motions, agreements, and oversight responsibilities to deepen the democratic culture and to ensure a smooth transition to the 9th Parliament of the 4th Republic of Ghana. The agenda of this meeting, therefore, includes urgent legislations for consideration. These are, and I'll just mention a few, the Affirmative Action Gender Equality Bill 2023. Committee, this week, we want the report to be presented and laid. You have no excuse. This time around, you have no excuse. 2, Constitution of the Republic of Ghana Amendment Bill 2021. And the honorable member had a discussion with me today. He is ready to proceed with it. 3, International Business or Economic Transactions Bill 2024. That is a very critical bill because the responsibility has been heaped on Parliament since the 1992 Constitution came into effect, and I think on the 7th of January 1993. Parliamentary Transition Bill is a very critical bill for this House, and we need to get it through so that they can have a better transitional arrangement put in place for the 9th Parliament of the 4th Republic. And the budget bill as part of the 19 bills at various committee stages. And so we have 19 bills now that are under consideration. There are over 80 bills yet to be presented to the House. These may have to be considered in due course. We have 5 instruments before committees, 27 more instruments to be presented. 149 papers before various committees, 59 more to be presented, and some agreements lined up to be passed or approved. Copies of the agenda of the meeting will be given to every member of Parliament. This meeting is, however, proposed to end with the month of July, unless otherwise decided by the House. So by the end of July, we should be going back on recess, unless members here decide to continue. The weight of business to be considered by the House at this meeting is therefore clearly immeasurable. Honorable members, another important subject worthy of your careful consideration is law and governance. Thomas Jefferson tells us that, I want to quote him, the care of human life and happiness and not their destruction is the first and only object of good government. Clearly, that is our mandate here as legislators. Our citizens deserve better. We all must collectively unite to uphold their rights and safeguard their freedoms. I have therefore thought it wise to initiate an engagement of this House, led by my good self, with chairpersons of the Electoral Commission, the Media Commission, Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, and the National Commission on Civic Education to discuss how Parliament could collaborate and work with them to create the right and just environment for free, fair, peaceful, and credible elections. This, I believe, will inspire confidence in the process and faith in our democratic institutions. We will definitely not be doing this alone. We will include the President, the Council of State, the National Security Council, flag bearers, and national executives of various political parties. The security service, particularly the police, and I emphasize, particularly the police. We don't want to see military during election. When there is a need to call them, they will be called, but they should not be at polling or voting centers. Honorable members, the clergy and notable civil society leaders will be actively involved. The signs and signals of happenings in the country are not that of assurance and hope. I shudder when I'm told that people going to write their names carry knives, guns, just to go and write names. What about when we are going to vote? And at the end of it all, the results are announced, and somebody else has carried the day, and not the other. I shudder to picture what will happen. Apart from that, the joblessness, the homelessness, and the hopelessness of the youth cannot be taken lightly. We must act together and now to prevent a journey to calamity or to a journey of no return. Honorable members, as the English conductor Sir Thomas Beecham once noted, there are only 2 golden rules for an orchestra: you start together and you finish together. Let us, as a political class, start together and finish together. I didn't hear you. The public does not give a damn what goes on in between the starting together and finishing together. With this, it is clear that as representatives of the people, we have a significant amount of work ahead of us, and I therefore urge all members to patronize the work and ensure that we make progress on these important matters. I've given signal to the chairs of the constitutional commissions, and they are more than happy to engage with us. And the chairperson of the Electoral Commission has promised to be here anytime we want her, so we can talk and clarify issues. That is a very good signal. Honorable members, on this note, I welcome you to the 3rd meeting of the 4th session of the 8th Parliament of the 4th Republic of Ghana.
I commend the Parliamentary Press Corps for their consistent coverage of the business of the House. Mr. Speaker, the sacrifices and dedication of your good self and officers of parliamentary service in ensuring that the House is able to perform its constitutional mandate is worth commending, and I take this opportunity to extol you for your patriotism. Mr. Speaker, as you are well aware, during recess, honorable members did not idle about, but continue to perform their constitutional obligations to the people they represent. Members take the opportunity to visit their constituencies and interact with their constituents and also solve their problems. I entertain no doubt that honorable members were able to make time to rest and also to relax in order to be refreshed and renewed for the arduous task and responsibilities this meeting may present. Mr. Speaker, having said so, let me proceed to state that there are a number of priority business to be transacted by the House, including bills to be laid, loan agreements, mining leases and commercial agreements, instruments and requests for tax waivers and import duties, etc. Mr. Speaker, we have as much as 24 bills that have been referred to committees. Again, Mr. Speaker, we have statutory report that ought to be laid and considered by the House. Upon my count, we have 11 of these. Mr. Speaker, the need to address the affirmative action bill has already been echoed by you, and I would encourage our colleagues who are in charge of this important bill to do all they can to deliver on their mandate. Mr. Speaker, looking at the above business and others waiting to be programmed, my colleagues will agree with me that we have a Herculean task ahead of us in this 3rd meeting of the 4th session. I shall humbly encourage our hard working committee chairpersons and ranking members to expedite actions on various referrals already before them and also prepare to receive new referrals as the Speaker may so direct. Of us. The Speaker kindly indulge me to bring to your notice and to the notice of the House some matters that require urgent national attention. These matters, Mr. Speaker, are worrying, and since they have the potential to disturb the peace and threaten the stability of the democracy. Mr. Speaker, this is particular so because if this is not checked, it can lead into the destruction of the democracy that we have all fought for. Mr. Speaker, prior to the last District Assembly elections, the NDC Minority Caucus raised concerns about the conduct of the Electoral Commission during the limited registration. This was because the Commission made terrible decisions that threatened the integrity of Ghana's electoral process. Mr. Speaker, this set the Electoral Commission on a coalition course with some political parties, civil society organizations, and potential first-time voters. In February 2023, the NDC minority had a cause to say that this Electoral Commission enjoys taking unwholesome decisions, being disruptive, fancies courting public disaffection, and enjoys being roundly condemned by right-thinking people. We said this at the time because the Electoral Commission had taken a decision to restrict first-time voters to register only at the offices of the Electoral Commission. That reckless decision had the potential to disenfranchise or deprive the vast majority of first-time voters the opportunity to have their names captured in the voter register. That decision by the Electoral Commission made the registration of new voters during the limited registration exercise very difficult, cumbersome, painful, and laborious for those who were qualified to register as voters. The decision of the Electoral Commission also imposed huge unplanned financial burden on members of parliament, parliamentary candidates, and political parties. Persons who were registering for the first time were needlessly subjected to frustrations and great inconvenience. Past members of parliament were subjected to significant unplanned out-of-pocket expenditures. People have to travel long distances, Mr. Speaker, to the offices of the Electoral Commission, endure long delays from queues, and suffer the agony of broken down registration equipment and network failures. Mr. Speaker, one would have thought that the Electoral Commission would have learned lessons from the reckless decision that I have just recounted, which created chaos and confusion over the place. But no, Mr. Speaker, the Electoral Commission learned nothing from the past. These terrible decisions have just been repeated by the Electoral Commission in just ended voter registration, as well as the ongoing vote transfer exercise. Mr. Speaker, the Electoral Commission is making a simple electoral process very cumbersome, frustrating, expensive, and, Mr. Speaker, burdensome. These developments do not inspire hope in our electoral process. Rather, they give people and some political parties cause to question the integrity of the processes ahead of the 2024 general election. We are concerned, Mr. Speaker, that if these frustrations